Considering an EV for the first time, but you're not sure where to look. You've got a bunch of options in the non-luxury all-electric crossover segment, such as the Ioniq 5, the Kia EV6, even the Volkswagen ID4. But behind me, we've got the all-new for 2023 Toyota BZ4X. Let's take a closer look. Did you know BZ4X isn't just a super weird name that kind of sounds like something Elon Musk might name his kid? The BZ stands for Beyond Zero, as in Beyond Zero Emissions. The 4 is representative of its size, which is equivalent to the popular RAV4, and the X just indicates its crossover status. Call me old-fashioned, but a simple name that doesn't represent all those individual specifics would have worked just as well, especially considering it all still needs to be explained. This wind-chill, pearl-painted green vehicle is in the XLE trim, which is the top of the 3 trims available. The base L trim has a starting price of $44,990 plus the $1,930 destination fee. The XLE starts at $54,990 plus destination. Its modern looks have been turning a few heads as they squint to try to get a glimpse of the oddly named Toyota that most have yet to see out on the streets. The two-tone look that many automakers have been getting on board with is an extra $1,100. I'll let you be the judge of whether that's a worthwhile spend. Whether you opt for the two-tone or not, I like the look of the BZ. It's got modern looks, but still mostly a traditional SUV shape. It's like a better-looking RAV4. Speaking of, we recently drove the RAV4 and compared it to the new 6th Gen Honda CR-V, which you can find on Driving.ca. The RAV4 is simple and easy to use, but the BZ4X takes some of the RAV4's best traits and makes it a little better. By numbers, Toyota says that there's a bit more legroom in the RAV4, but you wouldn't know that when you're in the BZ4X. Back here with the seat pretty far back, I've still got a ton of room, and this car seat here, even if my daughter's in there and her legs stick straight out, she's got quite a bit of room too. There's a ton of cargo space, way more than enough to fit a grocery haul or even a big stroller, maybe even both. A couple suitcases would also easily fit in the back. Despite the numbers showing it as being smaller than the RAV4's cargo space, it's got such a wide area that it's almost unnoticeable, unless you often stack things high into your truck. I found the BZ4X to be an extremely comfortable drive. It's smooth and picks up speed with ease while being quiet and gentle. While I know Toyota has some other comfy vehicles, my personal favorite being the Sienna, I was surprised by the ease with which this vehicle becomes an absolute favorite drive of the year so far. It really is a simple joy. As for the technical specs, the base trim is a front-wheel drive model with a 200 horsepower motor, while this top XLE works with 2 motors to deliver 214 horsepower combined. Toyota says the base trim has an estimated range of 406 kilometers and the top all-wheel drive trim has a range of 367 kilometers. When I picked up the fully charged EV, it was showing 430 kilometers. It was 10 degrees outside, so I didn't need to use the heated steering wheel or heated seats, nor did I need to use HVAC for my drive home. When I reached my destination, the readout was pretty accurate in its remaining kilometers. During a week in which I did a little more driving than usual, I would say this car averaged a higher range than 367 kilometers. However, during one drive where it was raining and the windows kept getting foggy, hitting the button to defog the front and back windows cut the range by roughly 30 kilometers every time I put it on, but it gave it back once it was turned off. Toyota also notes that the XLE model tops out at 100 kilowatts at fast charging stations. Unfortunately, I never came anywhere close to speeds like that. When plugged into a charging station, the BZ4X never actually made it past a rate of 37 kilowatts. That's pretty slow, and that definitely won't charge this vehicle to Toyota's estimates of 80% in an hour, which even then, it's a bit slower than competing EVs. Instead, the station was showing 4 hours and 50 minutes to a full charge. Of course, all that said, it would be extremely different for someone who has a level 2 charger installed, and I'd assume most people buying an EV would do this, meaning charge times wouldn't be as big of an issue since you can leave it overnight. Toyota says that should take about 9 hours. I didn't get the opportunity to test that, but considering the longer times with the fast chargers, it's hard not to imagine the BZ4X taking a bit longer than the planned 9 hours. But keep in mind that you're likely not running the vehicle down to a minimal charge before plugging it in at the end of every day. Now here's where things get a little iffy. For nearly $60,000, there are some things that should be standard. For example, some may insist on having a bit more range, especially if you're a first-time EV buyer. But EV aside, I personally wanted automatic seats and a memory button. No, it's not the end of the world if I have to manually adjust the seat every time someone much taller than me drives, but it is super annoying, and for the kind of money that you're spending on this vehicle, it should be standard on all trims, but at the very least, it should at least be in this top trim. As I mentioned before, once you're set in the seat, it's a really comfortable one, and most things are within a quick tap away. The infotainment system is super easy to use, but that's mainly because there aren't a whole lot of options in there. The screen is large and very clear, and while the backup cameras still aren't quite up to par with many competing vehicles, it's a bit better than some older models in the Toyota lineup. Besides, we can live without an HD screen when backing up, it still gets the job done well enough. The digital gauge cluster shows your estimated range, though there's no percentage readout. I didn't mind this at first, especially after realizing that seeing the percentage is the main cause of my range anxiety, but I can see why some people may find it useful when deciding if it's the right time to charge. If it's something you prefer to see, it can be seen on the Toyota app, but it's nowhere to be found within the vehicle. You can wirelessly connect to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's also a wireless phone charger hidden in this little compartment here. The unfortunate thing is if you've got a big phone, it might not fit, or even if you have a bigger case, it won't fit. Mine does fit perfectly, but it's small. Then you can close it up, and one thing I like about it is that it's closed in there. It's less distraction for you to actually be on your phone while you're driving. There's also this little storage compartment here, which is a good spot since there's no glove box, which is such a weird thing. There's not much space in it, but it does move forward if you need a closer armrest, but unfortunately it doesn't cover up this entire cup holder section, which is a little bit odd, but that's okay. Is the Toyota really all the bee's knees, or is this Z, is this BZ4X a cautious attempt at getting an EV out into the Canadian market as quickly as possible? If you're a car fanatic or EV lover, you know exactly what you're looking for, and those are very specific things when it comes to this electric world. But to the average driver with a family, someone quite like myself, a comfortable ride, adequate seating and cargo space, and easy-to-use features go a very long way. So cautious or not, I do think this is a semi-win for Toyota. So at the end of the day, it may come down to whether loyal Toyota fans are ready to jump in and get this electric vehicle, even with some of its misses. It's got a steep price, but I do think it's worth a look. The 2023 Toyota BZ4X might have some options for you if you're looking into the EV world for the first time. For Driving.ca, I'm Renita Narain. For more EV reviews and news, check out Driving.ca or follow us on Twitter and Instagram.